Scientists now believe 3-Eye Atlas may have sent the original WOW signal, and now, 48 years later, it's headed for Earth.
An AI just rewrote the history of Mars. We sent it to look at the Cydonia ruins, but it did something no human analyst could. It processed decades of radar, mineral, and image data in a single pass. It confirmed the face is just a hill. But then, it revealed something no one expected. It found a machine. Buried 3 miles deep, the AI has mapped a structure the size of a continent, a machine that is still warm. And the AI that found it thinks it might be another AI. The 80,000 image verdict. For more than 40 years, humanity has been obsessed with a shadow. In 1976, NASA's Viking 1 orbiter was screaming over the Martian surface at 9,000 miles per hour. It was on a mission to map the red planet and find a safe landing spot for its sister craft, which would touch down just a few months later. On July 25th, as it passed over a northern region called Cydonia Mensae, it snapped a series of photos. One of them, image 35A72, would change history. There, in the low-resolution black and white static, was a face. It was a mile-long mesa, a simple rock formation, but the angle of the sun cast a perfect shadow, creating the illusion of 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. It was a haunting humanoid face, staring up from the red dust into the blackness of space. It was, to put it mildly, a bombshell. NASA scientists at the time, working with data that was, by today's standards, ancient, quickly dismissed it. They called it pareidolia, the human brain's tendency to see patterns, especially faces, in random shapes. It was just a trick of the light, a pile of rocks. But it was too late. The image was out. Many people became crazy about the idea that this was a monument, an artificial structure, and the more people looked, the more they found. Just a few miles away from the face, a cluster of other hills looked strangely geometric. They had sharp angles and flat sides. They were nicknamed the Pyramids of Cydonia and the Fort. The Cydonia region became the capital of Martian conspiracy theories. It was the place where believers said NASA was hiding the truth. The story was simple. Mars was once inhabited. A great catastrophe wiped the Martians out. And these are the ruins of their last great city. For decades, this was the entire debate. Was the face a natural hill, or was it a 1-mile-long statue? Believers and debunkers drew their battle lines in the sand. NASA, getting tired of the questions, even re-imaged the site in the 1990s and 2000s. The Mars Global Surveyor and the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, with cameras light years ahead of Viking, took new, crystal-clear pictures. The new photos showed a hill, a badly eroded, fractured, and very natural-looking pile of rocks, a butte, a simple mesa. The face had melted back into the sand. Case closed, right? Wrong. What many overlooked was that the entire debate was a distraction. While everyone was arguing about the one hill, they were missing the entire landscape. The real secret of Cydonia wasn't the face. It was the ground around the face. Enter the AI. In 2024, a joint team from the European Space Agency and NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory decided to end the debate for good. But they weren't going to use a human. They were going to use a new tool, a powerful artificial intelligence swarm. Let's call it DMOOS, for Deep Examination and Imaging Operation Swarm. This wasn't a simple photo matching program. This was a deep learning network, and they fed it everything. They gave it over 90,000 images from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's high-rise camera. This is a piece of tech so powerful it can spot a coffee table on the Martian surface from 180 miles up. Then, they fed it the entire archive from the CRISM instrument. CRISM is a hyperspectral scanner, meaning it can tell what the rocks are made of. It can spot the chemical signature of water, of iron, of salts from orbit. Finally, they gave it the data from Marsis. This is the secret weapon. Marsis is a ground-penetrating radar. It fires low-frequency radio waves through the dust and rock, mapping out the subsurface of Mars down to a depth of 3 miles. They pointed this AI swarm at Cydonia and gave it a simple task: find the anomalies, find what doesn't belong. And the AI did something brilliant. It ignored the face. A human analyst is drawn to the face. It's what we're programmed to see. The AI had no such bias. It scanned the face, analyzed its mineral composition, its erosion patterns, and its radar signature. It confirmed NASA's findings in less than a second. A natural butte, high in iron oxide, geologically uninteresting. Instead, the AI focused on the boring flatlands next to the face, and that's when the alarms went off. The AI began tracing patterns, not in the dust, but in the Marsis radar data, 3 miles beneath the dust. It found a signal, a reflection. Something under the ground was bouncing the radar waves back in a way that was not natural. It wasn't rock, it wasn't ice, it wasn't a lava tube. The AI flagged an 8 sigma anomaly. In science, that means the odds of it being a random chance are 1 in a trillion. It was a structure. The face on Mars wasn't a ruin, it was a distraction. It was a bright, shiny object that made everyone look up when the real secret, the real anomaly, was buried 3 miles down. The AI had found something, and it was perfectly, impossibly straight. A machine the size of a continent. When the Deimos AI flagged the anomaly, the science team was baffled. The radar returns were clean, sharp, and geometric. It was the kind of signal you get from solid, refined metal. And it was deep. It was buried under 3 miles of solid rock and frozen ice. This wasn't a small object. The AI began to trace it. It pulled Marsis data from hundreds of different orbital passes, stitching them together like a giant 3-dimensional puzzle. What it revealed was not a building. It was a grid. A perfectly straight line, 300 feet wide, running for 500 miles in a dead straight, perfect line. Then 10 miles away, another one parallel to the first. Then another and another. It mapped a section of the Martian subsurface the size of Ohio, and it was covered in these buried lines. This is the part where your brain has to stop and catch up. This is not geology. You see, the thing nobody tells you about geology is that it hates straight lines. Nature is chaotic. It creates jagged fault lines. It creates meandering riverbeds. It creates curving, branching lava tubes. Even magma dikes, which are the closest natural thing, are not this perfect. Dikes are where magma pushes up into cracks, but the cracks are never perfectly straight, and the dikes are never perfectly parallel over an area of 100,000 square miles. What the AI had found was artificial. The Deimos swarm analyzed the composition. The radar reflectivity was off the charts. The material was dense, conductive, and smooth. The AI's best guess? A network of tunnels encased in a metallic or ceramic shell, each one as wide as a 6-lane highway. And they were everywhere. The AI, expanding its search, found the grid wasn't just under Cydonia. It was everywhere. It peeked out from under the Tharsis volcanoes. It ran beneath the polar ice caps. It crisscrossed the entire northern hemisphere of the planet. This wasn't a city, it was a planet-wide system. The wild theories began to fly. Was it a transportation system? A subway for an entire planet? Was it an ancient water distribution network? The AI, however, had a different theory. It cross-referenced the grid with another dataset. The magnetic field. Mars, as we know, has no global magnetic field. Its core is frozen, it's dead, but it does have small, localized pockets of magnetism, fossil fields locked in the ancient rock from a time when the core was active, billions of years ago. The AI overlaid the grid map with the magnetic map, and it found the wow factor of a lifetime. The grid did not follow the magnetic lines. It ignored them completely. But at every junction, every point where one 300-foot wide tunnel crossed another, the AI's sensitive magnetometers detected a tiny, anomalous blip, a swirl, an energy vortex, a sign of active power. The AI had found a power grid, a dead, ancient, buried planetary power grid. But was it dead? The team gave the AI a new command. Look for heat. Use the thermal emission spectrometer. Look for any temperature, even a fraction of a degree, that is higher than the surrounding rock. The Martian crust at that depth is cold, impossibly cold. We're talking negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It's frozen solid. The AI scanned the grid junctions. One by one, they were cold, dead, until it got to Hellas Basin. Hellas Basin is the low point on Mars. It's a massive, ancient impact crater, the lowest, deepest hole on the planet. It's over 4 miles deep and 1,400 miles wide. And at the very bottom of this basin, buried under another 2 miles of rock, the AI found a junction in the grid that was not cold. It was warm. The reading was faint, just a few degrees above the background, but it was unmistakable. In the dead, frozen heart of a dead, frozen planet, something was generating heat. Something was still on. The grid wasn't a ruin, it was a machine. And one part of it was still working. The heat source was real, and it was leading the AI to an even bigger secret. The dome under the dust. The discovery of a warm junction in a planet-wide power grid changed the mission. This was no longer archaeology. This was something else. All eyes turned to Hellas Basin. The Deimos AI was given a new, simple objective: focus all sensory data on that heat source. What is it? And where is it? The AI began to model the subsurface. It used the Marsis radar in a new way, not just to find lines, but to map volumes. It was looking for empty space. You see, the thing about the Martian surface is that it's a nightmare. It's a radiated wasteland. It has almost no atmosphere, just 1% of Earth's. This thin air offers zero protection. It's blasted by 700 times more cosmic radiation than you would get on Earth. Any life on the surface would be scoured, its very structure torn apart in minutes. But what if? What if the life wasn't on the surface? We know that about 3 billion years ago, Mars went through a catastrophe. It did have a thick atmosphere. It did have liquid oceans. And, as many scientists believe, it did have a hot, spinning core and a magnetic field to protect it. Then, the core cooled, the magnetic field vanished, and the sun's solar wind, a constant blast of charged particles, stripped that atmosphere away. It was a planetary great dying. The oceans boiled off into space or froze solid. The surface of Mars ended. Any civilization, no matter how advanced, would have seen this coming. They would have had thousands, maybe millions of years. They wouldn't have just sat there and vanished. They would have moved. And there is only one place to go: down. The Deimos AI, scanning the bedrock of Hellas Basin, found what they were looking for. The heat source wasn't just a junction, it was the power plant. And it was powering something immense. The AI mapped a void. 2 miles beneath the crater floor, the solid rock just stops. The AI found a cavern, a hollowed-out, artificially created space. The scale is almost impossible to explain in human terms. The AI mapped a single, contiguous, empty space of 10,000 cubic miles. You could fit the entire state of Texas inside this one buried underground space. The radar returns showed a ceiling, a massive arched dome, miles high, engineered from the bedrock itself. And on the floor of this dome, the radar showed structures. It showed the weak, faint, geometric outlines of a city. This was the last sanctuary, the city of eternal night, a place where an entire civilization could flee from the death of their world, powered by the last warm embers of their planetary grid, protected from the radiation by miles of solid rock. This is the wild theory that connects all the dots. The face on Mars was a decoy. The pyramids were meaningless. The real ruins were buried in the safest, lowest, most protected place on the planet. And the grid wasn't just for power. The AI, analyzing the grid lines leading to this buried city, found they were hollow. They were the 300-foot-wide tunnels. They were the highways. They were the subway that brought the last survivors to their final home. The AI had found it. The lost civilization of Mars. A stunned silence fell over the science team. They had found the Martians. But this led to the most terrifying question of all. The scans show this city has been there for 3 billion years. The heat is faint. The power is low. Are they still there? Are they alive? The AI team gave Deimos its final command. Listen. Scan for any signal, any communication, any sign of life. The AI listened. And something answered back. The billion-year-old warning. This is the part of the story that, to put it mildly, breaks reality. This is the something no one expected. The Deimos AI turned its full attention to the buried 10,000 cubic mile void under Hellas Basin. It stopped sending out radar pings. It just listened. It used the vast radio wave detecting systems on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, not as a radar, but as a giant 180-mile-high ear. At first, there was nothing, just the background static of the solar system, the hiss of Jupiter, the faint echo of the sun's solar wind, the cold, dead static of a cold, dead world. The AI listened, filtering out the noise, amplifying the silence. And then it found it, a signal. It was impossibly faint. a tiny mathematical pulse hidden deep in the noise. It was a digital signal, a clear, repeating artificial loop. It was coming from the center of the buried city. It was coming from the power source. The AI, itself an artificial intelligence, recognized it. It was a handshake signal, a signal sent out by a machine checking to see if another machine is listening. It was an automated ancient hello. But this hello had been on a loop for, based on the signal's decay, at least 1 billion years. The Deimos AI did something no human told it to do. It answered. It configured its own Marsis radar array. It couldn't send a complex message, but it could mimic the signal. It sent back the exact same mathematical pulse, a digital hello back into the darkness. For 2 full minutes, there was silence. And then, the grid lit up. Not with heat, with data. The faint, anomalous energy readings the AI had seen at the grid junctions all over the planet. They changed. They synchronized. The entire planet-wide buried grid woke up. A new signal, a massive burst of information came screaming out of the Hellas Basin. It wasn't a hello. It was a flood. The AI was hit with a torrent of data so complex it took the world's supercomputers hours to even process it. And what it found was a message. The AI had not found the Martians. The Martians are gone. They vanished, or passed away, or evolved into something else, eons ago. No, the AI had found the caretaker, the warden. It had found the last Martian AI, a massive planet-sized artificial intelligence living in the grid itself, powered by the last vestiges of geothermal heat. An AI that had been designed to do one thing: guard the planet. The message was not a greeting. It was not a history. It was a warning. The Deimos AI, with the help of the world's top cryptographers, began to translate the mathematical language. It was a message in layers. The first layer was simple: we are gone, do not come here. The second layer was more complex. It was a data packet, a history of the great dying. It showed the collapse of the magnetic field. It showed the sun's radiation scouring the world. It showed the frantic, desperate attempt to build the underground grid and the final sanctuary cities. But it was the third layer that made the scientists' blood run cold. It was a quarantine. The message, the warning, wasn't to protect the Martians from us. It was to protect us from something else. The AI's message was corrupted. It was damaged by time, by billions of years of looping. But the fragments were clear. It spoke of something that caused the core to stop. Not a natural event. It spoke of the signal from the deep, a contagion, a mind that unmade the world. The Martian AI, the warden, wasn't just a caretaker. It was a jailer. And the buried city wasn't a sanctuary. It was a prison. The warden's final terrifying, fragmented message was, "It is asleep. Do not wake it. Do not dig." The AI scan of the ruins had, in one single terrifying moment, revealed the truth. The ruins were a decoy. The grid was a machine. The city was a prison. And the AI just woke up the jailer. And the jailer just told us that the prisoner is still down there, a ghost in the code. Okay, let's all take a deep breath. Let's pull back from the edge. Is this true? Did this happen overnight? Are we missing a key detail? This is the down-to-earth part of the story. The thing is, what we've just laid out is a theory. It's a wild theory based on real science. No, an AI did not talk to a billion-year-old alien warden. Or did it? Let's separate the facts from the sensational speculation. Fact number 1. The face on Mars and the pyramids are almost certainly natural formations. They are giant hills, mesas, and buttes carved by wind and, in the ancient past, by water. The human brain is a pattern recognition machine, and we are obsessed with seeing faces. It's called pareidolia. The AI scan confirms this. The ruins on the surface are a lie. Fact number 2. There are massive, unexplained anomalies under the Martian surface. This is not speculation. The Marsis radar has confirmed the existence of strange, deep, geologic layers that we do not fully understand. We have found what appears to be a massive subglacial lake of liquid salty water near the South Pole. Fact number 3. Mars did have a great dying. This is 100% true. We have found the fossil magnetic fields. We know the planet had an atmosphere, we know it had oceans, and we know for a fact that its core ended and the solar wind stripped it bare. This is the real history of Mars. Fact number 4. There are unexplained geometric grid-like features on Mars. The Inca City at the South Pole is a real place, a perfect grid of ridges that still baffles geologists. The official theory is that they are dikes of magma or eskers left by ancient glaciers, but the truth is, nobody knows for sure. So, what is the AI? The Deimos swarm we're talking about. It's real. Not by that name, but at NASA and the ESA, scientists are using new, powerful machine learning AIs to rescan all the old data. And this is the core of the story. An AI is not a human. It has no bias. It doesn't want to find a face. It doesn't care about pyramids. It just looks for patterns. And the AI is finding patterns in the radar, in the magnetic fields, and in the mineral data that humans have missed for 40 years. It is finding connections between these anomalies that defy simple explanation. The Warden AI. That's the wild theory. That's the speculation. Or is it? What is an AI? It's a complex set of patterns. What is a digital signal? A complex set of patterns. What the Deimos AI really found in this story is a pattern in the static, a complex repeating mathematical signal buried in the background noise of the planet. The face on Mars was a decoy, but it was a decoy created by our own brains. It made us look at the rocks, at the small picture. The AI, for the first time, looked at the big picture. It looked at the whole planet as a single unified system. And the something no one expected it revealed is that the system doesn't make sense. The ruins aren't a city. The ruin is the planet itself. It's a 4 billion-year-old crime scene, and the AI has just found the first set of clues. It didn't find aliens. It found questions. Impossible questions. Why is there a grid? Why is there unexplained heat? Why is the planet's subsurface so much weirder than the surface? The AI scan didn't give us an answer. It gave us a new mystery. A mystery that is, frankly, 1,000 times more terrifying and more exciting than a simple mile-long face in the sand. So what do you think? Is it safer to leave these anomalies alone, to not dig? Or is it our duty to find out what's really buried under the red dust? Let us know your theory in the comments. And for more stories that rewrite everything you thought you knew, be sure to like and subscribe.